longest running comedy theater, finding ways to make people laugh about things that should make them cry for over 65 years. And who doesn't need a good laugh right now? Seriously, who doesn't need a laugh? Come see their fall show, Hippocalypse Now, a hilarious look at a world where what people say and what people do are completely unrelated. Playing now through November 1st at the Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis. Tickets available at hennepinarts.org. That's hennepinarts.org. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 75. Tonight, clear with a low around 56. And Wednesday, sunny with a high near 78.
State Fair savings are here at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. Save $25 on tickets to select performances of Grease, White Christmas, and Guys and Dolls. Tickets and details at chanhassendt.com/fair25.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk. Welcome to The Gaily Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker. Jim Pounds, my executive producer, is here with me in the studio.
Hey,
Jim.
all.
And Patrick is in the control room. Hey, Patrick.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you for captaining the ship. Ship with a P. Oh my gosh, I'm off to a day. It's a Tuesday. Patrick tells me we weren't able to give away those tickets yesterday to Chanhassen Dinner Theaters.
Let's
so
do that now.
I want you all to talk to Patrick. Say hello to our favorite producer in the control room. We're going to give you away. That's one last pair of tickets to Grease. So if you're in Minneapolis, Twin Cities, or Minnesota, and you're listening here in the 2 p.m. hour, you can get a free pair of tickets to Grease. You can choose the date of when you're going to go. So we're not doing it for a very specific date. You first caller right now, you get to choose which date you're going to go to it. Jim and I, we are going to it next week, aren't we? On
September
Wednesday.
3rd, yeah. Come
So
that night and say hi.
It's the musical of Grease. There is a dinner involved, so you get dinner and a show. You get to choose when you're going. It's running through October, right?
No, I think
Or the
it's
end of
September
September.
21st.
Oh,
I
it's
feel
almost coming to an end.
Yeah.
All right. Well, get your pair of free tickets. Next caller, 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. That next caller gets a pair of free tickets to Grease at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters, dinner and a show. For a show that I am looking forward to seeing next week. Because I loved that movie growing up, and I've never, ever seen a production of it live on stage.
I'm not sure if I have or not.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. Our friends over at Queer Gaze are partnering with Imagine Willow Creek Theater to present a new queer film on the last Sunday of every month. We are fans of Queer Gaze, and they've got the Flip the Script Film Festival coming up here later this fall. We're going to have them on to talk about that. But this Sunday, August 31st at 2 p.m., they will be screening Torch Song Trilogy, the classic comedy drama romance film from 1988. It stars Harvey Fierstein, Brian Kerwin, Matthew Broderick, and Anne Bancroft. Arnold, played by Harvey Fierstein, is looking for love and acceptance, but as a drag queen in 1970s New York City, neither come easily. After a series of heartaches, Arnold believes he has found the love of his life in Alan, and the two make plans to adopt a child. This is a Tony Award-winning play, classic of LGBTQ cinema that you can see on the big screen this Sunday at Imagine Willow Creek. Tickets are on sale at imagine-entertainment.com/queer-gaze, or you can just make that easier and Google Queer Gaze, Gaze, and you can find the information of how to get tickets. All right, what is on the show today? In the promos, for folks who are listening to the promos for today's show, I said we're going to talk about a new LGBTQ legal hotline in Illinois, but then I remembered, wait a minute, tomorrow we're going to have Jake Wittig on, managing editor of Windy City Times. And so he will be here and he'll have all of the new reporting of this LGBTQ legal hotline that the state has created and partially led by Governor Pritzker there definitely watching to see what he's doing
Yep.
for the 2028 election.
Yep. I am. For
I
sure.
know, right? So what is on the show then for sure today? Well, Harvard has canceled LGBTQ student support. And as someone who worked in higher education for 10 years, I have some thoughts about that. There were surprising legal victories in Kenya and Czech Republic. We're going to break those down for folks. Voting, we are a big voting pro-democracy, get out the vote show here. For folks who are listening for the first time, we actually have coming up next week a really important interview with Nia Benthal from Vote Forward, talking about their letter writing campaigns last year, what worked, what didn't, and how they're changing up their tactics moving forward, starting with this fall's Supreme Court election in Pennsylvania. So you're going to want to tune into that episode next week. But we're going to talk about Pennsylvania, how a judge has ruled that the state cannot throw out mail ballots anymore. We're going to talk about how they should be counting mail ballots according to the court. And I came across this story and I was so like, wait, what? Because you never see any Republican resistance at all to Trump and MAGA, which means that they are all Trump and MAGA. There will never be resistance. But there is this weird little bit of resistance happening in the U.S. Senate, which I'm flagging for folks because it has to relate. It relates to putting judges on the federal bench. Stay tuned for that.
Okay.
All right. Plus, to close out the show, This Queer Book Saved My Life has a new episode that dropped today, and we're going to talk all about it.
It's excellent, by the way.
It is an excellent episode, if I do say so myself.
Yes, and you do.
All right. Well, Harvard. So Harvard was getting a lot of attention earlier this year because the Trump administration went after Harvard, and then Harvard was like, we're going to stand up and we're going to fight back. Well, they ended up settling. And for like $500 million that they're going to be paying the Trump administration.
Extortion.
And yeah, extortion. All of the major universities are allowing themselves to be extorted.
Used to be a crime.
used to be a crime. Well, I want to point out, because I am doing this every time we talk about these Ivy Leagues. Jim, how big is the Harvard University endowment?
Well, this got to be one of the biggest because there's all the blue bloods that have, given money there for what seems like hundreds of years. I would say it's $5 billion.
$53.2 billion.
Wow.
That's
a pretty good. You can kind of have a little self-determination if you have $53 billion in the bank, can't you?
6.4 billion is going to the university's annual operating expenses in the 2024 fiscal year, which tells me that, you can crack into that little savings piggy bank for operations costs.
One would think.
749 million of it going to financial aid and scholarships for its students.
Yes.
And 70% of the endowment's annual distribution is donor directed to specific programs, departments, or purposes. But I just want to flag that $6.4 billion is going towards that went to the 2024 fiscal year of the university's annual operating expenses. So Harvard allowed itself to be extorted. They are not the victim here. Every single university that is capitulating and is saying to the federal government, yes, we will do whatever you say if you try to withhold funds, even though we've got billions of dollars in an endowment that we could cover tomorrow. We will allow you to extort us to do whatever you want on our campuses.
Well, they're
so
saying
Harvard fell for that.
They're saying to their students, don't have any beliefs, don't follow the beliefs that should guide your decision making. Just sell out if you get threatened. I mean, it's one of the worst, just the most futile messages for life to be giving to students. It's just pathetic.
Yeah.
So shame on Harvard.
It is a system where they have the resources to fight back.
Right.
They're not doing that.
Right.
They have the funds to make up for lost federal funding that Trump is withholding from them.
Right.
They're not doing that.
Right.
So it's You know, they are not. I want to keep saying they are not the victims here. Their students are the victims. These presidents, these board members, all of them, the administrators, they are not the victims. And when this administration ends in 2029, they're all going to be running around going, oh my God, I'm so glad it's over. We were just extorted and it was the worst time of our lives and we had to make these awful decisions. No, you made absolutely ethical wrong decisions. You are collaborating because you have the funds to make up for this.
I should probably do some investigating because in Germany during the Nazi takeover, did the colleges do something similar to this? Because he's following the Nazi playbook page by page by page. So I imagine the same thing was true, that the colleges in Germany failed to serve their communities and their students, just like ours are, I guess.
Now, as Northwestern erased all of their LGBTQ support, another famously rich university, Harvard now has taken additional steps. I had to look up what these were: proctors and tutors. So proctors and tutors were live-in advisors in various, dorms, etc. And they would provide support, and they would create activities, and they would just try to make a welcoming environment, but also to advise, mentor students, right? Well, they had very specific proctors and tutors for first-generation students, and for low-income students, and for LGBTQ students. Well, now Harvard has gotten rid of those.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Altogether.
What a civilized thing that is. So they're saying, screw the LGBT students.
They also got rid of 3 dedicated diversity offices. This is coming after they got rid of those and what is being called a diversity, equity, and inclusion purge.
That's nice.
From the university campus, which is most likely due to whatever deal they struck with the Trump administration.
With the devil. Yep. Well, I don't know. What would I advise somebody? I worked in higher education too, although I don't talk about that very much. And I would tell people
to talk about it.
I would tell people that if somebody's violating your principles of fairness and right and wrong, which clearly this is, I would find a different school. I would say, are they all doing that? I don't know. I don't think they all are. I hope some are sticking to their guns. I would transfer there. I mean, not right now. If you say to somebody, I graduated from Harvard, I would see that as a negative in your background, personally, given this. But that's just me.
The students, particularly the LGBTQ students at Harvard, are the victims.
Absolutely.
Here. They're the ones that are going to have to live with the decisions that these feckless administrators and presidents are doing when they have the resources to fight back, and they're not doing it. And then they're running around to all of their little conferences and all of their little circles and saying, oh, we're being victimized here.
And this is a school without a lot of schools waste money on athletics, and I don't think these people do as much, but they're not any better. It's really I'm very disappointed in higher education, really.
Stunned at how they're basically the political branches now, the executive.
Right.
They'll do whatever the president says.
Yeah.
Whatever he says.
Stop giving money to him.
It's been 6 months and they've all done it. All done it.
Yep.
We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some legal victories that we can celebrate. Yay. You're listening to The Gailey Show on WCPT 820 and AM 950 Radio.
This is Alex Knorr from Buzzcut Mowing, a young, hardworking entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. I take the hard work off your plate with weekly mowing. I also offer leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I'll keep your lawn beautiful so you can enjoy your weekends with the people who matter most. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
The Brave New Workshop is a Minneapolis tradition and the nation's longest-running comedy theater, finding ways to make people laugh about things that should make them cry for over 65 years. And who doesn't need a good laugh right now? Seriously, who doesn't need a laugh? Come see their fall show, Hippocalypse Now, a hilarious look at a world where what people say and what people do are completely unrelated. Playing now through November 1st at the Dudley Riggs Theater in Minneapolis. Tickets available at hennepinarts.org. That's hennepinarts.org.
Hey, Francois, how are you enjoying the state fair?
Bien amusé.
Oh, you really do love those macaroons from Nicolette's, don't you?
Oh, ils sont merveilleux.
I've heard there's great new flavors, cotton candy, root beer float, sweet corn, and mini donut.
Très, très bon goût.
Oh, plus they have 12 other gluten-free flavors. It's so great you support a local, small, woman-owned business.
Bien sûr, avec plaisir.
Visit Nicolette's in the West End Market between Lulu's and the Blue Barn. See you at that great Minnesota get-together.
The independently owned Next Chapter Booksellers is the perfect destination for your next book. The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations no matter your age or taste. Plus, they have frequent events including book readings and meet and greets with authors. And they sell more than just books. They have a wide variety of puzzles and games, too. So stop in and browse the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. I want to share about our travel partner before we get into this segment. We have a new travel partner, and they are Travel Marquette. And the reason why is that for the past 10 years, Marquette, Michigan has become a very special place for me. I first went there on a lark because I was meeting up with a friend, and Marquette happened to be equidistant between us, right? It was a 5.5-hour drive for both of us. And it's this historic town on Lake Superior. We were driving up in November, so there was like a snowstorm coming in, and I was like, ooh, we're taking a chance here. I loved it right away. I just had this really special vibe with Marquette. I found there's an amazing local bookstore, and I know I keep saying I'm judgy about people's towns bookstores, so this one was really lovely. Every time I go there now, 2 times a year for 10 years, I come back with a stack of books. There is some amazing hiking, both along the shore, along these rivers. There's waterfalls. There's a hike that goes up, and you can see the whole Lake Superior and the town of Marquette. There's a really good local bakery. And if you go, reach out to me and I'll let you know what the bakery is. They have these amazing bagels and donuts, and they are so good. We go there every time in the morning for breakfast. That's where we go for breakfast. And the reason why I wanted to have them as a travel partner is because I don't have to worry about being queer while I'm there. Marquette is a super blue city. It's in a super blue county. And for me, over the years, it's gotten to be all these different things. It's been a self-made writer's retreat. It's been a place to celebrate pride along this gorgeous lakeshore. And if a place could be a comfort food, then that's what Marquette has really become for me. I've already been there once this year for Pride, and I'm headed back this fall. And I'm really grateful to be in this partnership with Travel Marquette because the world sucks right now. And it's been so nice to just be able to get into a car and drive up to a place where I can be myself, relax, eat good food, buy what some people say is too many books, but they're wrong. You can't have enough. And it just, be in nature. So there's just something about it's hiking, being along the coastlines, shopping in its downtown because it has all this great, cool shops, but also this historic vibe to it, which is this really nice, juxtaposition. And it just is a time for me to refill my cup a couple times a year when I go up there. So if that is something that you too want to do, you can visit travelmarquette.com to start your journey and join me in Marquette, Michigan this fall. All right. A couple of legal cases. One that happened earlier this summer, and I didn't see it, and it got flagged for me, and I want to talk about it today because the case is a win, but it's also shocking of what was happening that caused the lawsuit. First, though, I want to start in Kenya. So Kenya is not a great country for LGBTQ people. Same-sex activity between guys is criminalized, and you can get a maximum penalty of 14 years imprisonment. It is very well documented of a country of having very severe LGBTQ human rights violations. In 2023, there were big, massive sweeping laws that were going to be. One politician said that they were so big that he just wanted to essentially, quote, kick LGBTQ people out of Kenya completely, end quote. So there was a lawsuit where we were thinking it was not going to go in our direction. But Pink News is reporting that a trans woman has won a landmark court victory in Kenya after a judge ruled in her favor and ordered that the government has to pass legislation to protect trans men and women.
Specifically.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, they ruled in her favor, awarding her $7,700 in damages, which is 1 million Kenyan shillings.
Wow.
Her medical records were leaked to journalists as she was arrested visiting Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. She was charged under impersonation. She was taken to a women's prison and strip search. A court ordered that she had to be subjected to gender determination, which included a genital examination, hormone testing, blood sampling, and radiological testing. She sued the government, saying that her dignity and rights had been violated. And the judge ruled that indeed her dignity, privacy, and freedom from inhuman and degrading treatment had been violated. And the judge ruled that the government has to address the rights of trans Kenyans either by, and this is what I was surprised by, there had to be a Transgender Protection Rights Act, or they had to amend the Intersex Persons Bill. So
what do you know?
Lolene Unger, who is a spokesperson for the queer rights charity Jinsiangu, told the press, quote, "This is the first time a Kenyan court has explicitly ordered the state to create legislation on transgender rights, and a first on the African continent," end quote.
Hear, hear, Kenya.
So that was a surprise, and
Well
that
done.
just happened. So maybe this will be the beginning of more legal victories in that country.
Right. That's fantastic.
This next story happened. It was a European Court of Human Rights ruling earlier this summer against the Czech Republic, where apparently Czechia was requiring trans men and women to undergo forced sterilization if they wanted to have legal recognition of their gender identity.
Any reason given for that other than cruelty? I mean,
the case came when the Czech Republic refused to recognize a non-binary citizen, only known as Taylor H., saying that the state couldn't recognize her gender identity because she hadn't been sterilized.
oh boy. 1940s all over again.
The case was escalated, brought against the government to the European Human Rights Court after a Czech Constitutional Court ruling last year told the government, and this is from Pink News reporting, Pink News is out of the UK, that they were supposed to remove the forced sterilization requirements from the statute books. But MPs, members of parliament, failed to bring forward a bill, and the government refused to schedule any type of vote to any proposed bills to get rid of this law.
So what are the repercussions of that?
Well, now they have to. Victor Human, who is the chairman of Transparent, which is a nonprofit in Czechia, told the press, the Czech Republic, this is a direct quote, the Czech Republic has been one of the last countries in Europe clinging to this harmful practice. Forced sterilization.
Don't go there.
We have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit of Trump resistance from the Republicans in the U.S. Senate.
Wow.
What? You are listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 Radio, KTNF in Minneapolis, and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Mornings can be tough. Unless, of course, you're listening to the Stephanie Miller Show every weekday morning from 8 to 11 on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NAGD. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting nagd.org.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about outdoor fires. Sitting around a fire is the oldest, most basic form of human activity.
What's new is in the way fire is burned. We can show you how to burn cleaner with a lot less smoke.
The radiant heat and light from an open fire is unmatched. It kindles our spirits and connects us to the outdoors. And now it's easier to experience and enjoy.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs wood and gas burning fire pits and fireplaces. Let us help you experience an outdoor fire without all the smoke.
Come see the many ways you can enjoy a fire outdoors.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for partly cloudy skies today with a high near 75. Tonight, clear with a low around 56. And Wednesday, sunny with a high near 78. August is Pet Appreciation Month, and Zero Res is safe for all pets with no harsh soaps or chemicals. Right now, they have their Labor Day sale where you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified for $119 plus $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book at ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES.
This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker. It is 33 minutes after the hour. Jim Pounds, my executive producer, is in the studio with me today. I just wanted to take a minute actually to process the idea that, and I'm just learning, and it ended on July 1st. So because of this European Court of Human Rights ruling that the Czech Republic has to stop the forcible sterilization of trans people. when we hear forced sterilizations, in my mind, I'm thinking that is early 20th century stuff. That is that is 1800s stuff.
Yeah. And I want to clarify, because I've gotten confused about this before. Czechia is different from the Czech Republic.
No, it's the same.
It is the same?
Yeah.
Oh.
Czechia is their how they reference in their language, the Czech Republic.
See,
they used to be a Soviet republic of. They put together the Soviets, Czechia and Slovakia, and it was Czechoslovakia.
Right.
And then when they gained independence, the two countries separated.
Okay.
Back to they should be.
Sorry for
but since July 1st of this year, sterilization is not required for legal recognition of your gender identity. And it was a combination of the Czech Constitutional Court and the European Court of Human Rights. But it just absolutely stunning to me that we are dealing with forced sterilizations. I mean, when we think of, the most famous case possibly of forced sterilization within the LGBTQ community is during World War II, when, oh my goodness, help me with his name, scientist Alan Turing, was
yes,
found to be a known homosexual and was sent to court for it, and then was forcibly sterilized.
Yeah.
This is a man whose work helped turn the tide and helped the UK win in World War II.
Maybe more than anybody,
Alan
any other
Turing,
single person.
and their response to that is to arrest him, convict him of the crime of being homosexual, and then forcibly sterilizing him.
Yeah.
So here we are in the 21st century, and the Czech Republic was saying that for you to be trans meant that you had to be forcibly sterilized.
Right. Because think of the ignorance of, well, you'll pass it on. That anybody could think that it would be passed along in some way so that you can't procreate. This is why, my feelings about religion. It encourages so much Stone Age thinking, because it hasn't advanced, frankly, because of quote unquote faith. It's kept ignorant. It actually celebrates ignorance and calls it faith, and leads to this kind of inhuman activity. It's absurd.
I know I keep
than that.
saying it, but forced sterilization.
Right.
In the 21st century.
At least we don't.
In Europe.
At least we don't think conservatism can be passed along and requiring forced sterilization. That would be the equivalent.
I'm not. I want to be very mindful, and I'm saying this as a European citizen. I'm a dual citizen of France and the U.S., and I do not believe that Europe is some, city on the hill, beaming city of human rights and whatnot. They have their history of atrocities, when I look here, and I see Italy banning LGBTQ couples from adopting.
Right.
Pride is outlawed.
Right.
In the Constitution of Hungary, and now just learning here that in Czechia, you had to be sterilized.
Yeah.
If you wanted legal recognition of your gender identity.
Right.
In that country.
Right.
Sterilized.
Right. Well, we're going to have to fight for ourselves.
It didn't stop until July 1st, 2025.
Yeah, that's disgraceful. And we have an acquaintance there, so
I don't.
Sad.
The expectation of straight people that they have over our bodies.
Yeah.
Like, where do you learn that? Where do you learn? I went to the same schools as heterosexual people. I went to the same colleges as heterosexual people. I went to the same grad programs as heterosexual people. I was always in the minority at these places. I was never the majority. I didn't go to queer schools. And I just, where is it learned for straight people to say, I have the power to regulate queer bodies, and I'm going to enforce that power, and what I say is what matters. If I'm uncomfortable with a gay couple, they can't get married. If I'm uncomfortable with trans people transitioning, they can't transition anymore. Where is that learned?
I say again, I think it's religion. The idea that we're going to stone this woman because she did something we don't like. This idea of control over other people, religion is all about control. Here's the absolute truth they wave around in the book. And of course,
I grew up in
don't live
two
that,
faith traditions, the Armenian Protestant tradition and the Wesleyan tradition. And I remember it being preached that all of this was wrong. I remember being told that being queer was going to lead to death in one way or another, eternal damnation, all of that stuff. But where do they learn that it is well within their right to dictate to queer people what they can and cannot do with their bodies? We live supposedly in the United States with a First Amendment free speech rights, right? Which includes how I dress, how I call myself, what I get to say. But apparently queer people don't get to have that. And I just don't understand where they learn that it is okay to run for office, to then put forward bills and debate them there was a debate about this. Rational so-called people in Europe sat down and said, are we going to forcibly sterilize trans people? Let's have a debate about that. Yes, we are. Like, are you kidding me right now?
well, the Christians came over here from Europe and were going to be missionaries to the natives who were here. And the only humans on this rock that ever did anything the right way, in my opinion, were the natives that were here originally. So I think religion lurks in the background of much of human atrocity.
When we look at that there were laws on this books to empower police departments to go into people's bedrooms to see if they were having sex, and if they were, to arrest them for it.
Yeah.
And that was and heterosexual people apparently never said to themselves, maybe we shouldn't have that power. Maybe that shouldn't be a thing. Like when I talk to straight people who are like, I don't know if I believe in gay marriage. And I'm like, I don't care if you believe in it or not. You don't get to have an opinion on it. That is not something for you to have an opinion.
Right.
And the fact that you feel entitled to that, where did you learn that? And what happened to you that it got reinforced that you think that you get to have an opinion on how queer people live and how that opinion is somehow valid?
Well, the same logic is going to be applied to pornography, and all of these straight guys that voted for Ding Dong, they're going to have their pornography taken away from them because these same self-righteous idiots think they've got the ultimate answer on that subject, which they don't. And boy, is there going to be some comeuppance when that happens. That's coveted by straight men. Trust me, no matter who they are.
What was it? Because they somehow, like, they knew I was queer, and so I was somehow kept out of these things growing up, where all the straights were getting together in a room and said, okay, well, don't let him know because we're not quite sure if he's a straight or not. So we're not going to let him know that we all agree that we have this power and we're entitled to this power to regulate queer bodies. If you want to be an ally, here's my thing to you right now. If you want to be an ally, if you want to be an accomplice to the LGBTQ cause, the gay agenda, and you're straight, just, do you need to have an opinion about these things?
No.
Do you need to have an opinion on what a person does with their doctor on something that has been studied and studied and studied for decades about what is actually safe, on how to treat a trans kid, on how to treat a trans adult? Like, we know that conversion therapy, like, the people will sit there, and I've gotten this on Blue Sky, where they sit there and they try to come at me, and I just block people on this now. I don't even want to engage on it. Or they come at me and they're like, you want to be fine with trans healthcare for kids, but you're not fine with conversion therapy. And my immediate response is always, because trans healthcare for kids has been studied incessantly for decades to make sure that it is safe. And it comes forward and it has all of these recommendations by the American Medical Association and by the American Psychological Association, who were both opposed to it. And then they did the research and found, no, this is the stuff that actually works. They have signed off on it.
Yeah.
But with conversion therapy, we have actually found out after decades of research that not only does it not work, but it causes very damaging effects.
Yes.
So my belief, because I believe in science, is you study an issue, You do long-term research on it, and you determine what is safe and has efficacy, effective, and what is not effective, and then you move forward with that. And that decision then needs to be between an individual and their doctor, like with abortion, like with any type, like in vitro fertilization, like all of these things. If it has been proven to be safe, I don't need to have an opinion about it unless it is a thing that is actually like, no, we know this is harmful, like conversion therapy. You all need to stop doing it because you're causing harm. You're not treating a condition and helping to heal people.
Right. All people with common sense will agree with you.
I don't know though, because when I watch these situations, when I watch what's happening right now in California, and California has been has had trans athletes participating in all ranges of school sports since 2013. Mm-hmm. That is 12 years? Did I do my math right there? Mm-hmm. 12 years without incident.
Right.
Without incident.
Of any kind.
And now suddenly they're just losing their minds over it. And Gavin Newsom has, Mr. Opportunist over there, has been like, maybe this is unfair now. Dude, you were governor for years now. This wasn't an issue until you allowed MAGA to wrongly make it an issue.
Right. That's what happened with abortion. It's the same. Propaganda works. People are stupid and they follow propaganda. They don't think for themselves. Not everybody, obviously, a portion of the population.
I don't. This will have to be we'll have to find a sociologist to bring here, or an anthropologist who can sit down and break down for me where straight people are taught that they get to have a say in the regulation of queer bodies, and that is valid, that their belief system is not only what they believe is not only valid, but that they are entitled the power to do so. I need a sociologist or an anthropologist or both to come onto the show and explain to me how that developed and why we still have in 2025 this belief that is okay and that they have that power. Anyway.
Well, they don't.
No, they don't.
Of course they don't.
They don't.
In any rational world, they don't.
I want to turn to quickly a story about voting.
Oh.
That actually has gone in our favor.
Okay.
This is according to the Associated Press. A federal appeals court on Tuesday ruled that it is unconstitutional for that battleground state of Pennsylvania to throw out mail-in ballots simply because the voter didn't write an accurate date on the return envelope. It was a unanimous decision by the Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ordering Pennsylvania to stop throwing out such ballots, upholding a decision earlier this year by a federal judge in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Under Pennsylvania law, voters are required to write the date on the return envelope for their mail ballot. However, thousands of voters were confused by the request to write the date and were either skipping it or for whatever reason putting in another date, like their birthday, because they're like, oh wait, do I have to validate that this is who I am?
Right.
And so then the state was just going, oh no, we're just going to throw these out.
Yike.
So anyway, a win for mail-in voting because we like democracy here on this show.
We sure do.
What show? The Gailey Show, right here on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPTA 20, Chicago's progressive voice where facts matter. Stay tuned, more after the break. Hey friends, John Parker here from The Gailey Show. Traveling as a queer person or with queer friends and family needs to be worry-free, relaxing, and with a sparkle of adventure. So that's why for the past 10 years, I head up to the Fresh Coast and Michigan's Marquette County. With its spectacular fall colors, dozens of hiking trails, local breweries, good food, eclectic shopping, and its historic downtown, and even a film festival, it's just what I need for a long weekend getaway. Join me and head up to the Fresh Coast. Visit travelmarquette.com to start your journey.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
Market Fresh Minnesota is your to-go destination for fresh vegetables, quality meats, seafood, and a wide variety of grocery staples. Locally owned and operated, Market Fresh Minnesota brings together the best of Asian foods in one welcoming store that is also kind to the pocketbook. Discover Market Fresh, your local Asian food store, just south of Rosedale on 1800 County Road 36.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they'd like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. And if you need to freshen up your home for the fall, Zero Res is dropping a Labor Day sale just in time for the start of the school year. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air gut cleaning. Sale ends Labor Day. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Welcome back to the Daily Show. We are coming up on the top of the hour. Congratulations, Mary from Minnetonka, for winning our last free pair of tickets to Greece at Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Congratulations. Very happy that you're going to get to go see that. And I am looking forward to seeing it next week as well. I wanted to also flag a story for our listeners because it's very, very rare where we get actual resistance from the Republicans, aka MAGA, to Trump. And this one is happening in the U.S. Senate right now. And it's around the blue slip process, which is related to the confirmation of judges and other legal folks appointed by the executive branch to the federal judiciary. And essentially what it is that when the president nominates someone to be a district judge or a U.S. attorney or other federal positions that are within a particular state, right? So if Trump is saying, I want to nominate some psycho to the, a judgeship in Minnesota, then the chair of the Judiciary Committee would go to Senator Smith and Senator Klobuchar and hand them 2 blue slips, literally blue form. And they can respond positively or negatively to that particular nomination. And if it's negative, then the chair of the committee can go, you know what, we got a blue slip black from the one of the senators. They said no, so we're not going to bring this. We're not going to confirm this. We're not going to bring it forward even for discussion. And this year, Democrats have actually been able to use the blue slip process. So they blocked in New Jersey Alina Habba from being a U.S. attorney, and 2 prosecutors in New York were blocked by Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer. AP News did some historical digging on this. Apparently, the blue slip tradition has been in place since 1918, has evolved over the years, as you can imagine. Chuck Grassley, the 90-plus-year-old
98-year-old
senator from Iowa, did away with using blue slips for nominees to circuit courts. So, there it is. It's been going around. But Trump says he doesn't like the process and wants it taken away. He says that it's unconstitutional. And let's see here. He's been complaining about the blue slip process for weeks and is pushing Chuck Grassley to abandon the practice. But Grassley has said, nope, I'm not going to do that. He said that Trump can sue the Senate, but he is only going to end up with weak judges approved in states that have at least one Democratic senator. He's saying, he told the press that even if, how do you put that? Republicans are noting that judges who don't receive approval from their home state senators through a blue slip, that they don't even have the votes anyway to get through for confirmation. So Tillis has come out saying, no, we're keeping the blue slip process. Grassley wants to keep it. Other Republicans, enough of them anyway, are saying that they want to keep the blue slip process as well.
What's interesting about that is, why would you? Trump might not think he needs these senators, but I think he's going to need them at some point. And he's done nothing but alienate and be his usual bully. And I think an awful lot of them have, voted against him here or there. But there's a cadre of a half a dozen senators who could very well reach a point where he's gone so far off the rails and is such a detriment to this country that they will form a coalition against him. I think that I'm disappointed that Tillis is such a coward, but if Grassley or whoever is unhappy enough, and he's this is what bullies do, right? Somebody eventually says, all right, enough. And that's what this guy has played his whole life. He's played against
I don't want to
overextend
overextend it, because Majority Leader Thune has said that they're going to look at ways to stop Democrats from the senator from North Dakota is saying that they're going to look for ways to stop Democrats from blocking things and slowing down the judgeship process. All the things that they use, to slow down everything during the Obama. That was my combination of Biden and Obama.
Wow.
The Obama and Biden administrations. So speaking of the federal government, this Queer Book Saved My Life, which Jim and I host, and Jim also executive produces, has a new episode that came out today. And I wanted to flag it for folks because the guest is Tim John Semmerling, who we had here on The Gaily Show a few months ago. And the book that Tim John is sharing that saved his life is The Deviance War, The Homosexual versus the United States of America. And in that book, the author, Eric Cervini, tells the story of Frank Kameny. Frank was an astronomer. I've written about him in the Queer and the Cosmos essay series, also here on The Gaily Show. He was an astronomer. And President Eisenhower in the 50s issued an executive order banning all LGBTQ people from the federal service, which led to a series of witch hunts and investigations by the federal government into its own employees. And Frank Kameny was caught up on that. He was accused and he was fired from his job. He was the one that sent the first lawsuit argued it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. First one that considered anti-gay discrimination in hiring. He lost that case. Does all this sound familiar? Anyway, Tim John was working in the federal government, and he was also fired for being gay, not related to a Trump executive order, but was pushed out he was working in Guantanamo Bay over mitigation. So was working with people who were charged with a crime and they were convicted. And then there's a whole process called mitigation. You can learn more about it. It's not a legal jargon episode, but it was just really fascinating how he was pushed out and his fight against the federal government for what they did to him. And then locating it, he's like, this helped me in my personal struggle of how to fight against the system and learning what Frank did so many decades ago. But also, now as we're locating ourselves within this larger fight with fascism and the Trump administration. It's a really great episode. I encourage you to find This Queer Book Saved My Life everywhere that you get your podcasts, or at thisqueerbook.com. In the meantime, thanks everyone for listening and or watching. Up next on WCPT 820 is Chew's Views with Richard Chew. On AM 950 Radio, it's the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 p.m. Central, Step Into the Unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio. Until tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.